Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2020 Mayor's New Year Levee. Let me take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you, and also to wish you a healthy, prosperous, productive 2020. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Fareed Amin, and I'm the CEO for the town of Collingwood, and it is my pleasure to act as your MC this afternoon. So once again, a hearty welcome to each and every one of you as we await the Mayor and members of Council's procession. So I can kindly ask you to please take your seat as we await the entrance of the elected officials. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Distinguished recipients, current and past, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Mayor Saunderson, Deputy Mayor Hall, and members of council, let me extend the most warm and cordial welcome to each and every one of you. This is an annual event, and for those of you who didn't hear me the first time, my name is Fareed Amin, and I'm the CEO of the town of Collingwood, and it is my distinct pleasure to be your MC this afternoon. I'll now invite proclamation by the town crier, Ken Temple Man.
Whereas Collingwood is a vibrant community envied by many, rich in spirit, heritage, and culture, a place where many wish they could live, work, and play. And whereas Collingwood has a robust number of volunteers giving of their time for the betterment of our town, volunteerism is the reason we are here today. Let it be known that for their service to our community, the town of Collingwood presents to Sashi and Iswar Prasad, David Saunders, Ronald McRae, Larry Hogarth, and Barbara Sharp, the Order of Collingwood, and that for her continued service, the town of Collingwood is pleased to confer the title Companion to the Order of Collingwood to Marilyn King Lawrence. Congratulations to our recipients. Once said by Anonymous, volunteering is the ultimate exercise in democracy. You can vote in an election every few years, but when you volunteer, you vote every day about the kind of community you want to live in. Long live the Queen!
Thank you very much, Ken. Ladies and gentlemen, today we acknowledge that this event is taking place on the traditional territory of the indigenous people of Turtle Island, including the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and Ojibwe peoples, and on lands connected with the Lake Simcoe-Naukosaba Treaty of 1818. This is the home of a diverse range of indigenous peoples whom we recognize as contemporary stewards of the land and vital contributors of our society. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll now invite Shane Poitier to sing the national anthem. And those of you who are able to stand, can you please stand for the national anthem? Thank you very much. You may be seated. I will now invite the Reverend Donna Wilson for invocation.
Good afternoon. Gandhi, who helped bring reform to India, once said, "The man of prayer will be at peace with himself and with the whole world." Let's pray. Our Father and our God, as we stand at the beginning of this new year, we recognize that we need your presence and your guidance as we enter 2020. We pray for Mayor Saunderson and Deputy Mayor Hull and our councillors and town staff as they make decisions on behalf of the whole to bring peace and justice to our community. We also pray for the first responders in our community as well as those who serve in our armed forces for their willingness to put our protection above their own. And today we see natural disasters at hand and unrest between countries, and we recognize that only you know the future ahead of us. And we ask that you would give our leaders the strength and the wisdom they need to meet the challenges that affect our community and world today. When the days are uncertain, assure us of your loving care. When disappointments and heartaches come, help us to turn to you for the stability and comfort we all need. When we're tempted to go our own way, help us to do what is right in your eyes, regardless of the cost. Every day, help us to see the hurting and the homeless and respond by acting with compassion to those in need. And help us to remember it is more blessed to give than to receive. Where there is division, bring peace, because we know together we are stronger. Today we give you thanks for the beautiful community we live in and recognize that we are a blessed people. And we remember your mercies to us, that we receive more than we deserve. Help us to remember, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. We look forward to this year with expectancy and faith. And for this I ask in the name of our Lord and Savior, who by his death and resurrection has given us new hope, both for this world and the world to come. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much, Reverend Wilson. I'll now invite our poet laureate, Dane Merrill, to tell us about Vision 2020.
Mayor Saunderson, Deputy Mayor Hall, members of the council and staff, honorees, friends, families, guests, and all of us who identify as members of the greater Collingwood community, it is both my responsibility and my privilege to serve as your poet laureate in this, my second year of a 2-year term. Today I'm sharing with you a poem that I've written specifically for this occasion, entitled 2020 Vision. Even before the turn of the year, the phrase 2020 Vision emerged as both a descriptor and goal for the new decade. But despite what we may have believed, it turns out there's really no such thing as perfect vision. Does this mean that we should jettison the mean for another like the Roaring '20s? Probably not, as that decade a century ago was marked by boom times followed by the bigger boom of global markets going bust. So what else can we do with these omnipresent integers? How do we make meaning of this 2020 year thrust upon us? For humans, our 20s are a time when we reach adulthood, if not maturity. In science, 20 is the atomic number of calcium, the third magic number of physics, How many amino acids are included by the standard genetic code? In sports, 20 is the maximum field of horses in the Kentucky Derby, the number of legal starting moves for each chess player, how many questions you get in the guessing game. Back in the day before cell phones, "Hey, good buddy, what's your 20?" rang across the CB airwaves as truck drivers and other road warriors shared the location of the cheapest gas or the best pie, warned each other of potential dangers, kept each other company on long-haul drives. From coast to coast, that one question encompassed, where are you now? Where are you headed? What's going on where you are? Are you okay? Rather than striving for the impossible goal of perfect vision, perhaps our first act of the decade should be to check in with one another, leaving the arrogant certainty of the teens for a more measured approach, finding the strength all the way down in our bones to step forward into the unknown with purpose, tempered with humility, to recognize that the only magic numbers are those that include all of us, to admit the need for connection and community embedded deep within our genetic code. We are not in a horse race in which there can only be one winner. We get more than 20 moves or 20 questions. We are traveling this road together, and more than ever, we need each other. So rather than presenting a vision as a fait accompli, let us enter into dialogue with each other as we seek the answers to the important questions. Where are you now? Where are you headed? What's going on where you are? Are you okay? Hey, good buddy, what's your 20 for 2020? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Danny, and certainly the words measured response and humility are really important, especially in a room of elected officials. But I digress, and my career may also be kind of limited having said those words. Anyway, once again, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to see so many of you at the Mayor's New Year's Levee. This is an event hosted by the Mayor, obviously once a year. This is my third year, and certainly I have enjoyed all the moments that I've had the opportunity to spend with you, and I've seen lots of familiar faces in the audience. We'll continue with our program, and at this stage, I'll invite our dear friend, James Carpenter, Great Cloud, one of our Indigenous traditional healer, and he will provide for us a welcoming song. So once again, James, it is a pleasure to see you, and welcome to this podium. I know you've been here before, but it is certainly a pleasure to have you again.
Ani Bujo, Waban Petition Cosmo Kodoro. And I just wanted to say Chimi Wetch to everyone that's here. As my friend here has said, I believe this is my third or fourth year here as well. My daughter sends her regrets. She had a party to go to. I asked my daughter before I came here, because she was going to sing with me. And I asked her, what song should we sing for all the helpers? And in our way, First Nations Indigenous knowledge, our helpers, we call them Oshkabewas. And that means they work for the Great Spirit to help other spirits. And my daughter Nakane, she said, Daddy, we should sing the Creator song. And I said, the Great Spirit song. She said, yeah. To welcome everyone that's here in a very kind and loving way, for all of our families, our community here, and our citizens, and of course all those Shkabewas that are being honored today for all that work you do for that Great Spirit. We say Chibi Gwech in the Ojibwe language, which is like saying all the goodness and gratitude that sits within my spirit. I'm trying to share that with you for a second. That's why we say Chimi Gwech. And this song, it only has 2 words, or 3 words really, and it just says, Great Spirit, visit with us. So I'd like to sing this welcoming for all the families and friends of everyone that's here, for the spirits of the land and that water not too far from here as well, and for all the ancestors of all of our families, our communities, and everyone that has connections to Mother Earth here. So I say Chimi Gwech to everyone, and again I'll sing this song. At the end of the song, we hit that drum 7 times, and that is for those 7 generations that are coming after us, as we make sure we take care of not only our children, but the future generations coming behind us. So I say Miigwech.
Thank you very much, James, and also thanks to James and many of his brothers and sisters who have been a big part of this community. We certainly acknowledge and respect the tradition that they have brought, and we will continue to honor and respect the legacy that they have in this municipality, as evidenced by the many activities that we are pursuing to preserve and enhance that legacy. The person who is about to offer opening remarks, I don't think needs any introduction. This is Mayor Saunderson, who is a first-term mayor, but served on council last year as deputy mayor. He is a practicing lawyer and is a well-known community activist, so I'll just invite Mayor Saunderson to provide you with some brief opening comments.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to this year's Mayor's Levee on behalf of Council, staff, and our team at Town Hall. Welcome. Before I start, I would like to recognize some of our former mayors and council members in the audience. I know we have Mayor Ron Emo. Ron, if you can stand up, please. Mayor Terry Geddes. Terry. And Mayor Chris Terry. And if I missed anyone, my apologies. I was running around just before, so if anyone snuck in afterwards, please stand up and I will introduce you and say your name. It's wonderful to have a legacy of our former mayors here at the Levee this year, and I think it's a great tribute to our community that they continue to come and continue to be involved in the ways that they are. So thank you. I'd also like to take a minute of silence to acknowledge those in our community that we've lost over the last year. Some of them are former recipients of the Order of Collingwood and companions of the Order of Collingwood, and may have served on councils past. So if we just take a minute to acknowledge those in our community that we've lost. I want to thank you and apologize for the bad timing this year. We're very happy that the Canadians made it through the final, but I was hoping the game would be in the evening. I can say that I have asked the runner to go down to the bar and bring back news if we're winning, and to bring back booze if we're losing. So we'll know immediately how we're doing. This is the second levee for me as your mayor, and it's a great pleasure. And when we had the inauguration at our Legion in December of 2018, I gave each council member a stainless steel pin, a brushed stainless steel pin as a council pin. And it was stainless steel really for two reasons. The first was to recognize our incredible marine heritage, our shipbuilding heritage. And the second reason was really to symbolize the incredible resolve and resiliency that is bred into our ones in our community. It's part of our DNA. And part of that incredible history of Collingwood, of commerce and culture and commitment to community is volunteerism. And today, the individuals that we're recognizing, the 5 new inductees and recipients to the Order of Collingwood and the sole companion to the Order of Collingwood, all symbolize that. They show and are testament to the fact that Collingwood has an incredible history of volunteerism, incredible resiliency as a community and strength. We have evolved in so many ways since the town was incorporated in 1858, and we continue to evolve. And that's why I think the words of our poet laureate Dave Merrill are so appropriate today. The 2020 vision, it's not about hindsight, it's about the dialogue as we move forward. And so today we celebrate that, and as the saying goes, what's bred in the bone will come out in the flesh. And that continues to happen in Collingwood from past generations to future generations. And as James sung in the song, 7 generations in the future. I'm very hopeful and optimistic that we will be having this event to recognize our incredible volunteers and moving forward. So welcome everyone. And I can tell you, as being a member of the committee this year, we had an incredible number of fantastic nominations for this year's awards. And so I think that it would be fitting, before we start to introduce this year's inductees, that we have them applause to recognize those that didn't receive the award, because each was an incredible story of volunteerism, and each one a shining light in terms of how volunteerism improves our community. It makes us stronger, it makes us more inclusive, more tolerant, and more rich. So with that, we'll pass it back to the CAO, and we will get going with the inductions. Thank you.
So that's the mayor part 1. Part 2 will be when the mayor delivers his state of the town address towards the end of the presentation. So once again, I'd like to personally offer my congratulations to all the recipients, both the ones who will be receiving their awards today, but also the former recipient. I sat on the committee for a few years, and I've seen the caliber of people who are nominated. And this is indeed a testimony to the kind of community that we've built in Collingwood, a community who pride themselves in volunteering. And this town, to a large extent, a lot of the things that we do and do well is as a result of people who take their time and efforts and resources to invest in this community. And this community is known nationally and internationally for the work of our volunteers. So I'd also like to join with the Mayor and others to extend my sincere congratulations to the recipients and also both the ones that will be receiving their awards today, but also the ones who will be who have received them in the past as well. I also want to say a few words about the awards themselves before I invite members of council to present those awards. The town of Collingwood, as mentioned before, is dedicated to supporting and recognizing exemplary volunteerism within the community through an award program which is based on the principles of integrity and a systemic approach ensuring the respect and dignity of the honor by the recipients and by the community. A nominee to be eligible must volunteer in the town of Collingwood to the primary benefit of the Collingwood community and have received no remuneration or financial benefit from their activities within the community. The Order of Collingwood is a very prestigious honor. A person who has made significant contributions as a volunteer without, again, remuneration for the betterment of the community, and who continues to contribute in a volunteer role, enhancing the goals of the town of Collingwood's community-based strategic plan, is also eligible for these awards. Before I invite the members of council to present the award, I just want to mention and make a distinction between the Order of Collingwood and the companion of the Order. The Order of Collingwood recognizes exemplary volunteer achievements by people who improve the social well-being, natural or cultural environment, or recreational character of the town of Collingwood. So I'll now invite Councillors Hamlin and Councillor Comey to present the award of the Order of Collingwood to Larry Hogarth. Mr. Hogarth, please.
Good afternoon. It is my sincere pleasure to be here with you today, with all of you, celebrating and honoring the extraordinary contributions of so many in our community. Reading Mr. Hogarth's list of accomplishments and dedication to volunteerism was humbling. I met Larry for the first time this summer when I was invited by the youth tennis organization to come out to the opening of a small storage shed that had been generously donated by the Optimist Club of Collingwood, of which Larry is a charter member. Of course, as has been described by so many that know him, Larry was there being very quiet, but through discussion, revealed to me that rather than simply going out and purchasing a prefabricated shed, as could so easily be done at any local hardware shop, he thought it better that they design and fabricate their own shed, complete with a very cheery yellow door. Through further discussion, Larry revealed to me that he had worked in civil engineering, and at that point he needed say no more to me. As having worked with engineers my entire career, I knew that a good engineer would have it no other way than to bring their own level of efficiency to a project. In discussion with those that know Larry, this shed was nothing short of symbolic to his approach to everything. Charlie Tatham said to me, "From my first introduction to Larry in 1970, I recognized him immediately as one of those individuals who was obviously very intelligent, but at the same time, highly practical. This was combined combined with that somewhat rare characteristic called common sense. Christopher Baines, the current president of the Optimist Club of Collingwood, had this to say: Larry has always been our go-to guy for any job that must get done quickly, quietly, and calmly. Every organization needs a gentleman like Larry, and we are blessed to have him. Speaking of blessings, like James, I was telling my daughter about this year's recipients, as last year she had identified the Prayer of St. Francis as befitting of the occasion. I told her about Mr. Hogarth, his work in Botswana, the role of the Optimist Club in bringing youth soccer to Collingwood, the donation of instruments to youth who cannot afford them, and his dedication to years and years of service at the Mother of All yard sales. After a day of contemplation, she came back and offered to me Matthew 25, verse 35 to 40. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Truly, I say to you, as you did this to one of the least of my brothers, you did for me.
Well, I think that does summarize what Larry has contributed so much to our community. He has been a volunteer in Collingwood for 50 years. From his first endeavor as a clown, and dressed up as a clown in the Santa Claus Parade in 1961, to some 24 years serving as a board member on E3, to some 30 years serving with the Optimist Club of Collingwood. Everyone, I'm sure, has run into Larry in one capacity or another. He served on 2 committees at the Trinity United Church, the Property Committee, and he's currently the chair of the Cemetery Board. So in talking to Larry on Friday, I was, Larry, what does the chair of a cemetery board do? So, well, it's record keeping. People who have acquired plots, people who have passed on and so on. But he said, there's always work to be done, and someone did pass away in early December, and the gentleman who was digging the grave did need a little help. So Larry was out there. Whatever's required, Larry has been there. I met Larry as a board member of the Institute of Southern Georgian Bay. Larry's been a founding member of that group and serves today as its treasurer. And he mentioned he's lots of skills as an engineer he's used, and even when the site selection was an issue to be determined for our hospice, the then Mayor Ron Emo, who of course was introduced earlier by our current mayor, had Larry investigating several sites as whether these were possible sites from an engineering perspective. So, as I understand, Larry spent considerable time driving around until the current site was selected, and of course we're so happy with that site. I'll just finish by saying, by coincidence, I was at a neighbor's of Larry's home for dinner on Friday night, and they had done a lot of work on their home, and they told me they had innumerable contractors who came to their home over the last couple of years, all of whom said to them that, oh, you live across the street from Larry, because of all the work Larry's done in the community, helping over the years. So I just want to say thank you, Larry, and we'd like to congratulate you on receiving your
Thank you, Councillors Hamlin and Comey, and congratulations again to Larry Hobart.
kid years.
Thanks again, Councillor, and congratulations, Larry. I'd now like to invite Councillor Doherty and Councillor Jeffrey to present the award to Ryan McRae. I was supposed to give Larry a chance to speak. Larry, do you still have your notes? Or is it mixed up in mine? Come on. We'll make an amendment to the bylaw. We need a two-thirds majority to overturn the previous bylaw, so I'll ask Larry.
Okay, I was given a warning, so I thought I'd better be prepared. So, first of all, I'd like to thank council for carrying on with this tradition. This is just great, and certainly to the staff that have organized it. And as I've been involved in a few of these things, I know it's not finished till the cleanup is done, because that's a very important part. And thanks to the folks who nominated me and found out the good parts and left the other ones behind. That's always good. And it's an honor to be here with the fellow recipients today, and to realize that there have been 37 years of these vets and numerous volunteers, many of whom are here today, and just represents thousands of hours of volunteer time, which is really great for the community. And for me, I think we can say that there's what someone said, there's a time to work and there's a time to play, and there's time to sleep as well. But anyway, in part of my life, I gave up computers when Pac-Man crashed on a Commodore 64, so that stopped back then. And when I was told in '82 was ready for 18 holes and not 9, I sort of gave up the golf game. And so that's, in curling, people say curling, well, I said I did the somersault early and I only did half the somersault, so that one hurt, so I gave that up. So, and I need something to keep me busy, so I like to volunteer. And my mother, I learned a little bit from my mother, who I could never quite keep track of where she was, but at the end of the day, she was the first recipient of the Citizen of the Year Award in her community. So she learned taught me that being a volunteer is quite helpful. So with the help of the community organizations, which have been mentioned, and by your mom and Tina here, I've been able to help. I don't usually take on the lead role, but I do like to help. So, and just help all around, all the friends and all the people at the clubs that I've worked with. And I have to say that I do get a little help from home too. And no complaints when I arrive. Sometime between 5 and when she likes to come on for dinner, sometimes that helps. And now the Colts games are on, it's got to be before 6 for dinner, so we do that. So thank you, Jen. You're there to help me all the way. And so I say I like the philosophy of to say that if friends need a pair of hands or a trailer or some tools from my basement, which is a bonus, I'll be there. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks again, Larry, and congratulations. And now I will invite Councillor Doherty and Councillor Jeffrey to present the next award to Mr. Ryan McRae. Mr. McRae, sir.
CAO Amin, Mayor Saunderson, council colleagues, distinguished colleagues, residents and guests. Councillor Doherty and I want to wish everyone a very healthy, prosperous, and in the spirit of today, volunteer-centric 2020. It is a privilege for us to jointly present to the next order of Collingwood recipient, Ryan McRae. This is my 13th opportunity to participate in the presentation ceremonies for the Order and Companion Honors, and I know there are those of you in the room who have done many more. but the commitment and passion of our celebrated recipients' contributions never cease to be outstanding. While Ron has been a prolific volunteer for more than 30 years, it is the diversity of his community investments that I find remarkable. Youth and adult organized sport, art and culture, and inclusivity. A reflection of the trifecta of goals needed for a caring, successful, and sustainable community. It was my pleasure to work with Ron on an initiative not highlighted in his printed bio, the Group of 25 and the Art and Culture Advisory Committee. Ron's candid opinions, based on a wealth of experience in that sector, were valuable in the development of the town's first ever policy for arts and culture and the implementation of its programs.
In 2016, what began as a simple request to create a website for the newly formed Syrian Sponsorship Committee ultimately became a significant role for Ron, as he jumped in with that committee to help fundraise and later settle 3 refugee families in Collingwood. This group has settled another 3 family of newcomers who have joined the original group and have come to Collingwood. Ron became an active member of the Syrian Sponsorship Committee, assisting the first families in adapting to life in Canada, to find work, introducing new activities to the children, and generally becoming a good friend and a good neighbor. As a fellow member of the Syrian Sponsorship Committee, I can vouch for the exceptional work that he undertook for these families. Ron even assisted 2 of our newcomers to get their driver's licenses, which was a formidable task given the language barrier, but both candidates were successful. More recently, he has helped one of the families to navigate what turned out to be a complicated process to buy a home in Collingwood, and they also were successful in purchasing that home. Ron says the greatest reward as a volunteer is the many wonderful people that he has met and the deep and lasting friendships that have resulted. A priceless reward for priceless acts of giving. Congratulations, Ron.
Well, hello everyone, and thank you for coming today. I'd like to say thank you to Council and Mayor Saunderson for this wonderful honor. I was over at my friend's last night, and they said, give us a little bit of your speech, what do you want to say? I said, well, I don't really have a speech. They seem to do. So I went back and dusted off my reducing down to 50 words. And what I really want to say is that thank you to those people, my friends, as I said a moment ago, who I met in the volunteer of friends from other communities, other places, over the years, who supported that nomination. Thank you very much. And as I said, these friendships that develop from these kinds of activities are priceless. And it really is a motivation in many ways why we do what we do. I would also like to thank my wife, who is here, and my family. When we started volunteering, we had just arrived in Collingwood. My son was 6 and my other son was 4. And we had one son left to come and he was on the way. So it was not particularly optimum time for volunteering, but volunteering is what I did. And doing a number of groups. I'm not doing this student, I'm doing programs to go to the and lots of stuff over the last 3 years. But, you know, when you head out the door to do this, that, and the other, someone else told me before, and that was my wife. And she was very generous, very supportive, and supportive, and people. And it's just the only reason really is very wonderful. And I would like to thank council, and particularly I'd like to acknowledge Parks, Recreation, and Culture, because I've been involved in youth soccer in the community, and later in the youth community. And during those years, Parks, Recreation, and Culture were very supportive. They gave us a little bit of money, not a lot, but they gave us something, they always gave us something, they always said, they were always very supportive. And it was important because you needed that. And I would like to acknowledge their contribution to our endeavors over the years. And, you know, as Deb and Kathy said, I think the liberty of calling them Deb and Kathy now in the semi-formal situation is counselor because I worked with both of them as volunteers in various communities over the years, as well as Mayor Keith, Deputy Mayor Keith Hall, and Cloud, and the Curry Club, and some wonderful children there. So what it means is we're in a room full of volunteers. I'm just one of many. I'm sure most of you who have been volunteers, are volunteers currently. So it's a huge operation. It's a huge operation of giving, of altruism, of compassion, of all the things that really make something important in the fabric of the community. It all comes down to what we might call goodness. And I think you agree with me looking around the world today, this is not our finest hour. We could use more goodness. We could use more altruism. We could use more compassion and people helping others, complete strangers, because they want to. That's the toolkit, that's what volunteers bring to the table. And so I learned just all of this, and I share this with all of you, because I know many of you, my friends are here, families here, who are also volunteers. So I share this with you. But I urge you to keep going and keep volunteering and do what you can. The little things that we use, the most important things in the toolbox of a volunteer are the things our world or our community needs most right now. And who knows, if we just keep plugging along, we might even change the world.
Thank you very much, Ryan, and also thank you for those kind words that you expressed on behalf of yourself and staff. I know you pay tribute to Parks and Rec, perhaps that's why Dean Colburn is here. But I'm asking you to give you the $5 later. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue, and to provide the next award, I'll invite Deputy Mayor Hall. And the next award goes to Shashi and Iswar Prasad. So if I can invite Shashi and Iswar to the podium, as well as Deputy Mayor Hall.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon, and Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you for being here. Mr. McRae, your words, your final comments there resonate, I think, with everyone in the room. And it brings back some of the comments that were made by two of our companions from last year, Mr. Harold Zuckerman and Dr. Farrell Anderson, who really spoke about volunteerism in a global sense and what the value and importance that it is today as we move forward into the year and the decade. I have to admit that unlike my colleagues here, I've never met the Persons. And in preparing my remarks for today, I had an opportunity to reach out to past colleagues of the Persons, as well as their daughter, Nero, is here this afternoon. And Mr. Hogarth, unlike back then in 1982, thankfully through technology, I was able to contact Nero on her vacation in Costa Rica. So Nero, thank you for taking a few minutes to talk to me. Some of you are aware that I wear two hats from a professional standpoint. And in those two capacities, there's sort of two things that are similar. One is that I have an opportunity to get to meet a lot of people. And in meeting a lot of people, I get to talk to a lot of people about Collingwood. And when I talk about Collingwood, I think of about three things. Two from sort of a historical capacity and one from sort of what's happening today with our community. From an historical capacity, the two things that sort of come to mind would be one, and as the mayor has already alluded to, a rich heritage as it relates to shipyards and our marine heritage. The other, and I did see George Weider come in earlier, I believe George is here this afternoon, and with all apologies to Joseph and George, when we think of Collingwood or when Ontario thinks of skiing, they think of Collingwood. So my apologies to the mountains. And then today, and I'll circle back to this, when I think of Collingwood and the direction which we are going in, I think of the many young entrepreneurs who are coming to our community, who are embracing our past heritage, future opportunities, and making a community that really is true today. And Nero, their daughter, is a part of that, and I'll circle back to that in a second. The Persons, through an opportunity for Dr. Eswar to come to Canada in the late 70s to pursue a postdoctoral PhD at Queen's University, brought them from their native home country of India. From there, in the early 80s, through an opportunity, as part of a connection to the resort of Jozo, but through Blue Mountain Pottery, they found employment through the pottery and made them move to Collingwood. Collingwood, of course, is a very different time, or a very different place, I should say, back in the early 80s to community that it has become today. Unfortunately, as we all know, in 1986, the shipyards closed. And it was not a recession, but it was a depression for the local economy. The Persons, being well-educated, well-connected, had every opportunity probably to go back to Houston, Toronto, Waterloo, London, places of academic lives, where they could have probably pursued many different opportunities to their choosing. But instead, they chose to stay at home. And leaving the pottery, they opened up what is today sensor technology. Sensor technology for the 35 years has been creating innovative products that service our military, the Navy, the marine industry, the oil exploration industry offshore, etc. And the connection is that for those who don't know, the red clay, we think of Blue Mountain pottery as blue or green, but the red clay that was used to create the product is the similar product or same product that was used to originally create, continues, the sensor products that are used by some of these different industries throughout the world. Now, in the program, it outlines the many things that the Persons have done to contribute not only to the local community, but the broader community. There are two things I just wanted to mention. One is that the Persons have their two daughters with them today, Nero and Jen. Nero has her two children with her, and last week I saw again, sort of from technology, to Instagram a really cool post where Nero had posted that her daughter, I believe it's Kate, was taking her 100th trip by air. That's pretty cool. But I wanted to just focus on Jacqueline for a second. Jacqueline and I have never met. And in speaking with Nero, I came to know that Jacqueline is an adopted girl. Nero and Jacqueline went to the University of Western Ontario at Western, became very good friends, and obviously became good friends of the family. And only within the last 10 years, if I have this correct, has become an adopted permanent part of the family. The reason I mention that and it hit home or resonated with me is that one of my parents is adopted. And when I learn about other people who have taken the time, for whatever reason, whatever motivation, to adopt, it hits home. Because to me, it speaks volumes to the people. Recognizing that somebody else would benefit from being a part of it. It's not part of the program, and I think it speaks to who they are as a couple. And I wanted to share that with you today. The other thing I wanted to share with you is at the bottom of the program, there is reference to, I apologize, I don't have it, oh, here it is, the MSMF Foundation, which is an Ottawa. As I mentioned, Prasad emigrated to Canada for the war. We have a significant Indian population within our country from coast to coast to coast. And in Ottawa, a gentleman by the name of Dr. Sanford, through significant personal tragedy, established a foundation and an ongoing humanitarian work. This gentleman's daughter, his wife, and his 2 children were killed in 1985 in the Air India. In recognizing his grief and wanting to continue to do his work, he established this foundation and therefore several different awards for various causes. Vision, volunteerism, humanitarianism, etc. And the Prasads are recipients among all of the other things that they have accomplished and contributed to their community. Recognition of the recipients of this particular award. And I mention that as well because I think it speaks, just as it does today, that when you are recognized within your own community, demonstrates your value, your contributions that you have made. Lastly, I just mentioned sort of the community today. And many of you are aware that the town of Collingwood, as part of our marketing program, have really emphasized the entrepreneurial spirit. And there have been maybe 5 to 10 individuals or companies within our community that have become sort of a brand. And one such person in particular is Nero. We have an entrepreneurial hub within Collingwood. But standing to my left are true entrepreneurs that emigrated from India to Canada, to Collingwood in the early 80s, and then in the midst of what was not a recession but a depression in our community, made the decision to stay in Canada. For that decision, I'm very thankful for all their contributions, and the lasting legacy of their company, through the leadership of your board, will continue to provide for the town of Collingwood. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Johnson, members of the council, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to say. They're humble for this award. I'd like to thank the Mayor Hall for all the nice words that you said. Possibly I'd like to get them in writing so that I will record those for future usage. Indeed, it's very humbling experience. We came to Collingwood in 1983. Assistant to Roomba, I came here first time in May and then the mountains and finally ended up moving here in the month of October. And, you know, as soon as we came, we met many people that ended up having a significant amount of influence on us, or say they provide a great inspiration to us. They have set the bar very high. You know, I can mention a few names. Dr. Anderson was a patient, but we also had long conversations with him in life and about the work we do in the community. Mr. Zuckerman, Harold Zuckerman, everybody knows Harold Zuckerman, recipient of the Order of Collingwood and the Companion Order. And again, the conversations with him were very, very enlightening, and certainly they set the bar very high. And I can't read two more names, George Whitehead, who is here today, as well as George Gurney, who worked with me for a number of years and had long conversations in that. In particular, George and Barbara Whitehead have mentored us along the way when we were building the business. And Barbara Whitehead in particular literally dragged me into working with some of the things that I did in my life, you know, and I have to thank her for that way. The vision, the friendship that these people have shown us, certainly are the most wonderful experience we have in Collingwood. Thank you. This moment is much bigger than both of us. Previous speakers have spoken on that. This is a moment for those people who work tirelessly in the community, in places like the Collingwood Hospice, my friend's house, Barbara Whitehead Home for the Youth. I'm just mentioning a few names here, there are a lot more than here. Their work in the community is a great inspiration, and it also makes this community a wonderful, wonderful place to live. I don't have a lot to say here. I just want to end my part of the speech. Shashi is going to go up next to me. I'll quote from what Harold Zuckerman said in one of the previous awards here. He said, our life is a big loan from God. It just paying back a little bit at a time. Thank you very much.
Okay. Continuing from Ishwar, I have to say, our work is not complete yet. Oscar Wilde said, the smallest act is worth more than the grandest intention. We came to Collingwood in '83, which was supposed to be for 2 years. And today, after 36 years, we have 3 generations living in Collingwood. They are here with us. And our daughters, Jacqueline and Neeru, helped us set up Prasad Family Foundation, which was born 10 years ago to support local causes, and it will continue to work into the future and beyond our lifetime by our children and our grandchildren. Anouk and Nora are here today. Thank you all once again for this award. We will cherish and recognize this greatly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shashi and Ishwar. And you can see the common thread or the common theme permeating all these speeches is the aspect of humility. And I recall a great leader once said, when he was appointed to be a leader, he said, "I've been asked to lead you, although I'm not the best among you." Now, ladies and gentlemen, this sense of humility expressed by our recipients so far is a testimony to the kind of individuals they are. And Ishwar spoke about setting the bar high. The only thing I can say is that to reach that bar, you need to be an Olympic pole vaulter. So they have indeed set the bar very high, and I've had the opportunity, the distinct pleasure to share the podium on many occasions with you, and haven't had the pleasure of meeting the Prasad, but I can tell you that Nehru is certainly continuing in that tradition. And once again, I'd like to, on behalf of all of us, congratulate the Prasads for the work they continue to do in this community. I'll now invite Councillor Madigan and Councillor Gorman to present the next award to Mr. David Saunders.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. I just want to address the elephant in the room quickly and let you know that the current score is Minnesota Vikings 13, New Orleans Saints 10. I have only had the pleasure of meeting Dave quarter after lunch, so while it is a privilege to stand here and honor you, I don't think I could do you justice, but I know that my friend council matters. So
thank you very much, Stephen, and as everybody said, welcome today. So Steve, we walked to the podium today. Steve looked at me, because he doesn't like to really speak at public events, and he said, "Do you trust me?" Because he said he was going to tell a joke, and every time he tells a joke, I have to make fun of him, but because he didn't tell a joke, I have to make fun of him today. Mr. Saunders. Welcome to the table, Mr. Saunders. So, being born and raised in this community, growing up, my father had a business from 1968, so sometime. But growing up in the downtown, there was always Saunders. He was always there. So I know there's a name Dave or David, but I still call him Mr. Saunders because Mr. Saunders is here, his family's here, I know his brother, and they come from a long line of volunteering. But I don't think they really think about it as volunteering. I think he's just thinking about it as doing the right thing. When we're outside, he's a very humble man, very quiet man. Yes, kids do. He's a very quiet man. He said he was nervous. And I said, I don't know what you have to be nervous about. Everybody else is going to only speak for 2 to 3 minutes, so that's going to leave you 14 minutes to let everybody know how great Collingwood is and why you decided to stay here. So you go through these things, and I was lucky enough to have a business beside Saunders for 6 or 7 years, so I learned a lot about Mr. Saunders and his family, and his son Joe, who's not with us today. I'm going to tell a quick story about, oh, is Joey here? Okay, good, Joey. I was going to make fun of you, buddy, but you're here now. So I have my store beside Saunders Office Supply, and we both have the back door, so I can sneak in the back door, and Joe knows a lot about certain things that I don't know anything about. So I would go in to Saunders, and I know he got it from you, and I would say, Joey, I need a stapler. And he'd say, okay, what kind of stapler do you want? I want a stapler that staples. Well, do you want the EX595, or do you want the 4290? I want a stapler. I really I just want a staple. I just want to staple my day sheets together. And finally, I just bought the most expensive one that he had. I said, thank you very much. I think that was a cunning display of upselling by your father to teach him all that stuff, because I think you knew the most about everything. So I'm not going to go through his bio because everybody knows his bio. So I reached out to Jamie. It's funny. So we were out in the hallway and said, hey, Bobby, come here. So if you've been born and raised in Collingwood and you say my name as Bobby, I get a little bit nervous because you've known me forever. I'm Mrs. Brown. So I still get nervous. That's still Mrs. Brown up there too. I know your name. Still Mrs. Brown. This is going to be good. So Jamie, I said, Jamie, tell me something about your dad that nobody will know. Other than he's a fantastic painter and he doesn't tell anybody that. I kind of hate you for that because I like art and I'm good at painting. So these are Jamie's words, not mine. My dad says yes to practically any project. That doesn't mean he always knows how he's going to do it, though. But whether it's turning a board, moving stuff, painting, or fixing something, he is definitely a lifelong learner. They have a saying in their family which I think is brilliant. It's just a wall, or it's just a store, or it's just a project. In other words, he doesn't sweat what he doesn't know. He just figures out how and learns how to get it done. And this work ethic, I think, he's taught to his children and tried to instill in both of them. So Jamie's got a story. He said, I remember one nighttime Santa Claus parade. We used to have it at night, where the downtown, we were volunteering. Unknown to James. Little did they know that a major snowstorm was coming in. So, not at all equipped to deal with the winter, out to Pine Street they ran in running shoes, slacks, and got everybody ready for the parade. The smart two Saunders, Joey and Mrs. Saunders, came out well prepared in their winter gear as Jamie and Mr. Saunders froze, but they got it all going. So what that says is that no matter what, you're like better than a mailman. Sleet or snow, anything. We're not spreading out to say no. Mr. Saunders had business in the downtown for a very, very, very long time. And so as another fellow that's had a business, I was kind of upset when he retired. We lose a lot of good businesses in our downtown. And some of the retirements we've made guys like myself, Mike Christie and John Gabriel, other statesmen in the downtown. And we're not ready for that, so you can come back anytime you want. But hearing Jamie's words, it goes to, as a human and a parent. As a father, we have one job, but it's split into 3 different things over the years. In no particular order, you're a protector, a mentor, and a friend. So on behalf of an old neighbor downtown, just a kid who grew up in Collingwood, buying all my cards at Saunders, thank you for being there for us when we needed you, when I got in trouble with a lady friend. We appreciate it. You'll probably start selling cards again. I could use some help. And you have been a true inspiration of humanity, humility, and what it means to love your town with as much love as you possibly can. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. The town appreciates it. Your family loves you. Don't be nervous. Thank you. Do not pretend you're so insane, but it's there, just sit.
What do you want? Well, Bob told me that I could speak for 50 minutes. First of all, this is a office one. All righty. Thank you, Bob and Steve, Councilors Manning and Berman. I would like to thank the town of Collingwood, mayor, council, and the organizers for the vote. That's great. I understand that as one lady was doing the work as an income. I would like to commend the other order calling the recipients, past and present, for all the hard work and dedication. I know it's ongoing for a lot of us, and it's it's a worthwhile endeavor. I would like to thank the folks that nominated me. It was a total surprise. A good surprise, like not going to the dentist, surprise. Most importantly, I'd like to thank Brenda, my wife of almost 50 years. Now, she told me what she wanted me to say, but I can't really tell people. So I'd like to just thank her for her continued support, encouragement, and advice. She's always steps up and pitches in whenever needed. As you know, when volunteers, and sometimes you're short of help, and sometimes you have no help. And Brenda always steps up and fills the gap. I couldn't do it better. But now that I'm retired, I'm around the house a lot more. So when I suggested I might be going on another project or doing something, she's very helpful. She'll hold the door open. And then I hear the lock snap. Anyway, I'm very proud that my mom and dad both won the Order of Collingwood, or were awarded the Order of Collingwood as well. My dad in 1987 and my mom in 2000. And that's an indication about our whole family. The whole family, the whole Saunders family is very committed to our hometown, and we've been privileged to basically live right here in Collingwood or nearby as a family, as generations. So as you know, we're mostly all committed to our family. My sister Kathy, my brother Don, my kids, my grandkids, and the extended family are all involved in worthwhile organizations and events in the area. It's kind of an infectious thing. It's something you can't get rid of. It's something that when I think about, you just get up and do it. It's fun. So for us, it's become a family tradition. My favorite quote, and some of the folks that I work with in some of the groups I'm in have heard this before, but my favorite quote comes from Roy Tomlin. She once said that the road to success is always under construction. That for me is where we are in Collingwood. It's a beautiful town, a wonderful place to live, work, and raise our family. A proud heritage, well worth working for, and I plan to continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, David, and congratulations again. I'll now invite Councillor MacLeod to present the next award to Barbara Sharp.
I want to thank, first of all, Ron McCrae for mentioning that we have a children's program at the Curling Club, and it's on Sunday mornings at 10 for any of your grandchildren who may want to join us. And I think one of the secrets about being a volunteer that nobody's mentioning today, and ought to be mentioned, is what volunteers get out of it. Anyone who has talked to my husband Charlie knows that Sunday is my favorite day of the week, because I get to hang around with my little curlers. I get more out of it than they do 20 times out of 20. And that's one of the reasons that I'm so pleased to introduce you today to Barbara Sharp. Barb Sharp. Not only because I finally get to tell her that I forgive her for cutting me from the junior girls volleyball team in 1997 in the first round of tryouts. But people like Barb Sharp are what make a community livable. And I'm not just referring to the fact that she's Presbyterian. Although you will find her at First Church a lot, helping out the kids in the Burning Bush Theatre as they learn their lines and their songs. So far, they've put on 7 musicals there. She's been working for years on the First Contact Youth Group with Catherine Brown, who of course is a companion of the Order of Canada and our Order of Collingwood, and no mean musician herself, very familiar with musicals. I remember being coached by Catherine in one of the singing Christmas trees years and years ago and her love of music and her strong volunteerism was very, very evident in the work that she was doing with us. Her love of drama is strong in Barb and has been for a long time. She helped choreograph in musicals at CCI. Now in your program, you'll notice that she was involved with seven of them, 8 of them, but that's because they only did them every second year. And the reason they only did them every second year is because every year would have been too much for the teachers. They would have murdered the children. Choreographing musicals at a high school is a very thankless job, hurting artistic-minded teenagers who are in full hormonal bloom. She didn't snap, though, at those of us in the chorus when we missed our steps in Beauty School Dropout. That was when we did Grease in 1987. She didn't cut me from that. She didn't snap at us the first night, anyway. Barb still works with kids in choreography, volunteering with Pearden Community Theatre. They have mounted 6 performances now, and they do manage to do one almost every year. She tells me one of the most loved, though, and the most important things that she's doing now is working with Sherry Buffon at the Adult Special Needs School, which is run out of Pretty River Academy. Barb is the drama teacher at the school for people who are between 21 and 35 who are transitioning out of the public school system. Now, Barb says when she and the other coaches at the high school would choose the teams, they would post the list of names up on the wall and then run and hide. Because it was just too hard to watch us disappointed kids find out that we weren't on the team. Well, this is a list, the Order of Collingwood, that is worth sticking around to read, especially with today's editions. And so today we honor Barb Sharp.
Years ago, I graduated from Teachers College, struggling with a sense of self and direction. A chance encounter at a hiring convention led me to Collingwood. This decision changed my life. The staff and students of CCI and the citizens of Collingwood inspired me to become the best version of myself. It was the best decision of my life. And it has been a pleasure to volunteer and to serve this wonderful community. I accept the Order of Collingwood with a humble heart. Thanks to Town Council and the administration for recognizing the contributions of its citizens and for this lovely celebration. Indeed, Collingwood is a great place in which to live, work, and play.
Thanks, Barb, and congratulations again. And now we come to the Companion of the Order. And the Companion of the Order of Collingwood is awarded to those people who have previously received the order and have continued to make outstanding volunteer contributions to improve social, well-being, natural or cultural or recreational character of the town of Collingwood. And today's recipient is Merlin King Lawrence. And to present the award, I will invite our Mayor, Brian Saunderson.
Reed said in earlier comments, the companion of the Order of Collingwood is just that much higher than the Order of Collingwood in terms of the recipient continuing to contribute on a massive scale to our community after having received the recipient of the Order of Collingwood. And so it's my pleasure today to be presenting this award to Marilyn Lawrence. And to tell you, we're lucky to have her here today. She didn't threaten to stay away because of a hockey game. She actually has the flu and has been battling the flu all week. So when I was speaking to her, when I was speaking to her yesterday, I had to have the speakerphone very loud and lock myself in the closet so I could hear. She initially said she got her Order of Collingwood, I think back in 2015. And I was not lucky enough to present the end, so I am lucky enough to do it today. You thought I was. It was a mistaken identity. And I think when Marilyn made a great statement to me on the phone, it shows her optimism and positive attitude because she said, although I have a flu and it's a tricky little voice, she said it's kind of a blessing because I got it from one of my 3 grandchildren and I wouldn't give them up for the world. Marilyn received her Order of Collingwood for her incredible work with teen diabetes to raise funds for people afflicted by diabetes. And that went back to 2006 when she and a gang of other Collingwood residents committed to run the Rome Marathon. It was her first marathon, and she thought it was a great challenge and a great way to open the door to raising funds for diabetes because both her mother and her brother were afflicted by diabetes as well as other members of the family. So it was a cause close to her heart. And 10 marathons later, and having hiked up Machu Picchu and the Scottish Highlands and raising money, she received the Order of Collingwood. But that wasn't the end of it, because during the time that she was raising money for diabetes, for people afflicted for diabetes, it was going into research and education. She decided that she wanted to target children. She wanted children with diabetes to be able to live lives to their fullest. And so she was raising funds to make sure that children with diabetes could go to camp every summer, get out of town, expand their horizons, and learn what their bodies were capable of doing and how to cope with their illness. And in 1 year alone, she sent 30 children. And so through what started through bottle drives and book drives and yard sales, that eventually became community yard sales at the Legion, she went online. Larry. Keep that in mind. The internet can be a good thing. Okay. And now, Marilyn is raising funds with teen diabetes through online auctions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And she still does the community work with the Legion. So she continues to raise funds on a much larger scale, continues to benefit people who are suffering from diabetes, particularly the children. But she's also broadened out her work to working with seniors, helping them with their tax returns, getting them meals, making sure they're okay. And she's also mentoring other volunteers in our community to make sure that her expertise and her drive and her dedication is spread out to our community and future generations. So it is for these reasons that Marilyn Lawrence has been voted as this year's sole recipient of the Companion of the Order of Collingwood. Congratulations.
Most people who know me know the gift of the gab is bestowed on me, but this is going to be the shortest speech on record. It was with great pleasure that I found out I had been chosen as this year's recipient of the Companion of the Order. I feel truly honored and grateful to the town for bestowing this recognition upon me. And even though I stand here alone today, the award truly belongs to everyone who supports my efforts along with me. Without our many donors, my friends, volunteers, and supporters on the Team D website, none of this would be possible. We do a huge amount of good in our community. I'm very proud of it. We can't forget this incredible community that keeps on giving and makes it even more valuable. So for them and myself, I say thank you. You have made this an amazing start to a great new year. Thank you.
Thanks, Marilyn. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating again Larry Bogart, Ron McRae, Shashi and Eshwar Prasad, David Saunders, Barbara Sharp, and Mary King Lawrence. And we are coming to the end of the program, the most important aspect of the program just concluded, with all due respect to the mayor. But I should also add that we've got the mayor's presentation coming up, and it reminds me I was at one of these conferences where you had speaker upon speaker upon speaker upon speaker, and when the penultimate speaker came to the podium, there was only one person left in the audience. So the penultimate speaker looked at this individual and says, I want to thank you for having the patience and the courage and the wherewithal to remain seated and be patient to listen to what I have to say. And this person looked the person in the eye and says, you're kidding me, I'm the next speaker. So I want to again congratulate you for your patience, and again offer our sincere congratulations to this year's recipients. Again, it's a true testimony of the caliber of people who live, work and play in Collingwood, and it is a privilege to be part of this community and to be part of the public service in the town of Collingwood. And I also want to say how privileged it is to be led by elected officials of the caliber of Mayor Saunderson, Deputy Mayor Hall, and members of council. As staff, we are inspired by their leadership, and we hope that we can work with them to deliver public service that is of benefit to the entire community. I'll now ask the Mayor to provide you with his New Year greetings and provide you with some aspect of what we have done in the town of Collingwood, after which we will show you a video, and that will take care of the proceedings. So without further ado, I'll invite Mayor Saunderson to address us.
You stole my line, free. I am the next speaker. Well, what I'm going to do is ask that we actually play the video presentation now, because pictures are worth 1,000 words, and I'll cut down on my time here and your time. So I'm going to ask that we run the video, and then I will do my concluding comments.
In 2019, the town of Collingwood continued to deliver quality public services, supporting a healthy, strong, and vibrant community while preparing for future growth. The town of Collingwood leveraged core strengths like our beautiful downtown, our natural environment, and our extensive waterfront to offer a four-season lifestyle to residents, businesses, and visitors. Collingwood was on display for family-friendly events like the Collingwood Elvis Festival, the Side Launch Days Harbor Festival, the Shipyard Social celebrating Collingwood's living history, the Collingwood Art Crawl, and the Levee gatherings at the All In Gathering Place. In 2019, we finalized major asset sales and now look to invest in community legacy projects. We launched the new international award-winning municipal website, the Engage Collingwood platform, and we are seeking input on the refresh of our community-based strategic plan. We are paying down debt in a fiscally responsible manner. We enhanced customer service, accountability, and green initiatives, and we prudently invested in the judicial inquiry, which will make Collingwood and all municipalities better. Staff at the Collingwood Public Library worked hard to create a new first floor seating area and a new second floor teen zone with revitalized teen programming. The library added talking picture wonder books, the all ages Comic-Con, cultural outreach, touch-a-truck learning, and expanded programs for seniors. Fire services promoted equality and career planning with a boot camp for female high school students. Fire services also added new firefighter training materials, a portable blowhard fan that clears smoke and cools structures, and a search and rescue drone. 2019 saw various paving, sewer, and sidewalk projects in the community, including paving on Heritage Drive. We also completed the Hamilton Drain Trail crossover and the transit terminal. We repaired water mains and valves, began the expansion process at the water treatment plant, and worked on hydrant market, frozen services, and the water transmitter project. We began expansion at the Black Ash Creek and Pipeline sewage pumping stations, completed the Minnesota sewage pumping station, and replaced the generator and brickwork at the wastewater treatment facility. The Business Development Center continued to create opportunities, offering the Excite competition, the Summer Company program, the Career Youth Expo, attainable bus services, and a customer service portal. We hosted economy-boosting events like Collingwood Whiskey-licious and the first Tech 5x5. The town of Collingwood continued to grow in 2019 with new development and opportunities. Town hall restorations added to our historic downtown, which exemplifies our heritage and beautification community-wide. The town of Collingwood continues to be a great place to live, work, and play. Discover more at collingwood.ca.
In the words of our town crier, oh wow. So as you've just seen, 2019 was an extremely busy year for our community, for our council, and for our staff. And we're very proud of what we accomplished in our first year in this term of office. But I want to give you a bit of a backdrop, I think, in terms of the context in which we do these things in our community. And I want to talk a bit about the financial aspect of that. So if you take every tax dollar you pay and put it into $1 bill, 47 cents goes to the federal government, 44 cents goes to the province, 9 cents, or just under 9 cents, comes to town hall. And with that, we fund all of what you see up there today, and more. We operate in a very fiscally responsible way with the limited resources that we have. And I'd like to thank the town staff for working with us. And just to give you a little more detail, in the two budgets that this council has passed, in 2018, we had a rate increase of 1.13%. And the rate of inflation for 2018 was 2.9%. In the 2020 budget that we've just passed, and this is the first time that I'm aware of in the history of the town, we have passed the budget before the calendar year end. We had a rate increase of 1.09%, which translates to about $7.48 per $100,000 of assessment on a home in town. And that is below the rate of inflation, almost 0.9%, which was 1.9% this year. So operating in that type of fiscal constraints, living within our means, not incurring new debt, I think we are pushing the agenda forward in this community in a very responsible, and viable, and sustainable way. And 2020 promises to be an extremely busy year for us. We're working on large building block projects like the community-based strategic plan refresh, which will be happening in the first quarter of this year. On the official plan review and update process, which will look at all planning processes that will take us forward for the next 20 to 30 years of growth, which we know is going to be extensive. It's not that we should be fearing growth, it's that we need to make sure that we sustain, that we steward growth, and we sustain it and we marshal it so that we continue to be the type of community that we have enjoyed for so long. And it is doable. And not only is it doable, it's a challenge for us, and it's a challenge that I am looking forward to optimistically, because I think with the staff that we have at Town Hall, the CAO, Freedom In, with Deputy, or Executive Assistant, Executive Director Sonia Skinner, who was in hired this past year, and with senior staff, and all the staff that we have at Town Hall, we are more than up for this challenge. And we're looking forward to that. And I think this community should be looking forward to it. We should not be going forward in any sense of trepidation. We should be moving forward with confidence and commitment and belief. Because we live in a community that others and we're continuing to improve, which just makes them more envious and then they try to move here. We'll also be looking at critical decisions like how to best invest $18.5 million from the sale of 2 large assets in our community, Collingwood Regional Airport, and the remaining 50% of our shares in Collis. And those are big decisions. And again, we should be approaching those as an opportunity, as a way to invest in our future as a community, in legacy projects moving forward that will improve our community today and for years to come. Because we're not talking just about the people of the generation that is in this room. We're talking about the generation that's watching a hockey game, maybe playing hockey, or working their way out of diapers. Really, I think our mission should be, as our council, is to serve as our current residents the best way possible, but also with a view to how are we going to welcome the future generation of 2020, children that are born this year. What will Collingwood be for them in their infancy, in their school years, in their teenage years, into adulthood, and later? We're trying to build a community that is sustainable in every respect, socially, economically, and environmentally. That said, for those who have listened in the past, and I think our poet laureate today mentioned it, municipal governance is your most immediate form of government. It's a dialogue. You can run into your council members even leaving alone, when you're shopping, when you're dining out, wherever you are, you're immediately accessible. And that conversation is really what drives our agenda in our town. And that conversation, one of the major underpinnings of that conversation has to be trust. And some people have asked me with the judicial inquiry that's happening, am I concerned that there's a crisis of trust in our community? And the short answer is absolutely not. In fact, I'm extremely optimistic about building that trust moving forward, and I think that that is evident in any number of things. It is evident in the fact that our community has been recognized nationally and internationally with various awards. We've been recognized as one of the top entrepreneurial communities in Canada for many years. We've been recognized as one of the top 10 destinations in Canada. We've been recognized as one of the top 10 places to retire. We've been recognized as one of, or a top, for you can see, outdoor community in Canada. And most recently, we were recognized by Claims Magazine as one of the top 25 best places to live, best communities to live in Canada of any size in the 22nd. Those recognize the power of our community, which is what we're celebrating today. The power of our community in terms of volunteerism, in terms of just raw dynamic, whether it be financial or brain trust. We have in our community an incredible resource of gray matter that has come up from within our community and is also moving to our community, and we have to leverage that. And that all goes to the dialogue and the conversation that we talked about. And I'm also optimistic because we had the fortitude to strike judicial inquiry. We had the courage, past council and this council, and our community had the courage to shine the light in town hall and to show the cracks in our processes so that we can fix them, so that we can change how we do business. And if you consider the cost of the judicial inquiry, it's gone over what we had hoped. But if you consider that our annual budget this year is approximately $90 million, and that's going to probably increase over the next 6 years, that's $500 million coming to town hall. And if there was anyone that didn't think investing 1% of that amount of money to make sure that our roads or infrastructure or sewers and water supply are healthy, I would be surprised. So why should we be surprised about investing 1% of $500 million into our governance processes so that we can account to you and tell you, the public, how every dollar that comes into town hall is spent or invested, so that we can account to you to make sure that we all trust each other. Madam Justice Bellamy recently testified at the judicial inquiry, and she said something to me which was very striking. She said, government officials have a duty of trust to the public. They are trustees to the public, and every minute of the job, every decision they make, they are required to put the public interest ahead of them. I think that's all that. To me, it's absolutely right. And I can tell you that this council here is absolutely committed to maintaining and upholding that trust and accounting to you for every decision we make and where every dollar that you invest in our community goes. Now, I was recently at a health symposium in Southern Georgian Bay, and the facilitator said something that really resonated and struck with me. She said that change happens at the speed of trust. We're changing our community. We're improving our community. Our community is evolving, strengthening, it's becoming more inclusive, more diverse, more sustainable. And we are changing at the speed of trust. And most recently, the United Nations Habitat has selected Collingwood as a community to champion Sustainable Development Goal number 11, which is sustainability, cultural, social, and financial. We are going to be working as a pilot project with the UN Habitat to be a test pilot, to show what is a sustainable community. We are going to be held as a benchmark, not just in Canada, Ontario, Canada, internationally, as what are the ideal traits of a sustainable community moving forward. That's incredible cause for optimism. We're being recognized on the world stage as a community that faces its challenges, that shines lights in places that aren't necessarily going to be flattering, and moves forward to improve with its residents to make a community that really is going to be 21st century, progressive, inclusive, tolerant, and financially responsible community that can be. And that, I think, is a huge cause for optimism at our council table, at town hall, and in our community. We welcome that challenge. And we welcome the opportunity to earn your trust. And we encourage you to take up that and engage in the dialogue with town hall. We have taken many steps to try and open our processes from our online accessibility to our customer service model to the way we structure our standing committee meetings and our council meetings so that every initiative that comes up to council goes through the public process of public input can be heard and we can have your comments moving forward. One bad news I have is I think it's 3-1 for Russia. Sorry?
It's 3-3 with 5 minutes left.
3-3 with 5 left. Well, I should wrap up. More cause for optimism. Have a great day. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Mayor Thompson, for those kind words and also very inspiring words. We're coming to the end, but I would be remiss if I don't thank Jenny and other staff at Town Hall who worked tirelessly to make this event possible. Jenny was one of the individuals who was behind all of us to make this a reality. I know Becky and her staff as well did a tremendous amount of work. So I want to congratulate and thank Jenny and Becky and their staff, Krista and others for the tremendous work they did in putting this event together. And of course, thank all of you for coming out. We do appreciate your presence. And once again, I'd like to offer our sincere congratulations to our recipients. I was going to ask for a motion to adjourn, but Councillor Jeffrey preempted me. So on that basis, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end. Please stay back and socialize and have some refreshments at the back. And again, on behalf of all of us, congratulations to our recipients. Happy and a prosperous New Year. And please drop in and say hello to us and tell us what we're doing well and what we're doing not so well. Good afternoon. Thank you very much.